There are a lot of different accessories out on the market for your AR-15. I mean, there's so many different ways you can go. And of course, there are different rifles. This is an Armalite 20-inch barrel H-bar. It's really made for the bench or for long-range shooting. Finding the right accessories for this may not fit something for my M4. Now, I did a review on the ATI system that I put on here, the stock, the free float handguard, also a grip that ATI puts out. But I've done some additional upgrades to that. And so I'm going to show you a couple of things that I've done, and we're going to talk about a little bit about the philosophy of adding gear to your guns. Now, one of the things that I changed out was my grip. And this is the original ATI grip that was sent to me. Very nice, very ergonomic with the finger grooves. It does feel your hand. And then also it has this support here along the back of the lower receiver to give you even more support. Now, I have medium-sized hands, but this really fits a lot of different hands. I think you could have really large hands and be able to really fit this comfortably. It's a nice reinforced polymer, and it's very strong. And I've seen the grips before completely break off, especially in competitive shoots or doing some training exercises. So this is really a super strong, durable grip in itself. Now, this is the new grip. And this is the Scorpion, and there are some real cool upgrades, not only in just the design, which there are some with the finger grooves, a little more texturing here and here, but the real key to this Scorpion grip is right here on this back strap. This is a very soft, rubberized material that absorbs impacts like you wouldn't believe. It's along the same lines as the recoil pad, which cushions and has a really nice feel to it. And this is going to give you not only some comfort, but it will also help with recoil. And, you know, many of you are going to say, well, it's 223 or 5.56. I mean, how much recoil do you have? But any recoil management is going to help when firing the weapon. Anywhere that you can put comfort into the shooting position is going to really move and reflect on your target. This is a hard, reinforced polymer, extremely strong. And then you have this second piece that fits over. Now, when you attach it, this will come off. And I left this off for a purpose because I wanted to show just the pad itself, which, of course, it's got the reinforced polymer here, and then it's connected. This way you can attach the grip onto the rifle itself and then bring this insert, and it slides right in. And then at the bottom, there are two screws. Now, I haven't inserted the screws yet. Here are the two screws that we're going to insert to secure this grip. But just for demonstration purposes, I just wanted to show it without so we could remove it. But even the bottom of the grip itself, and this way when you rest it on something, it's going to give you just a little more cushion. Now, one of the demonstrations that they used on the ATI website is dropping ball bearings on standard rubberized surfaces. And one of the things it would do when the ball bearing dropped, it would bounce. On this technology, the ball bearing actually falls and rests. And what that does is it absorbs the recoil instead of bouncing. So when you're gripping this, or when the buttstock here is on your shoulder, it's going to absorb the recoil rather than to reflect the recoil. So it's a really incredible space-age rubberized compound that is going to really make a difference. I mean, you can feel, and there is some cushion here, and it gives you some padding. One of the things, too, about this grip, and you need to be careful with a lot of the different polymers and a lot of the different stock systems, getting cleaning solutions on your grips and on your stocks. It can damage them. Now, this will not damage with any kind of solution. So it's very resistant. It's not affected by chemicals, and it's also not affected by temperature. If you get in really cold or really hot conditions, and you would think so maybe with this rubberized finish, but this is not affected by extreme temperatures, either cold or hot. And so there's a lot of different grips on the market, but to me this is really an outstanding grip to put onto your rifle and to give you a little extra padding here. Now, one thing that ATI does very well is putting a detailed description on how to attach any kind of accessory. And to be honest with you, a grip attachment is pretty simple and straightforward, but sometimes for the novice, you really could use something like this. It gives you detailed instructions. Now, one of the issues that I've had for a long time, especially with aluminum handguards, is the Picatinny rails are very sharp and not very comfortable when holding your forearm or your handguards. And so one of the things that a lot of people do, of course, is to put a pistol grip on the end, which I'm not a big fan of, even though I do like to shoot that way sometimes. But having that kind of accessory, being able to put accessories on your handguard, make it really nice. But to be honest with you, you don't need Picatinny rails up and down all sides of your handguards. You may need it for a light, you may need it for a laser, bipod, sling system, even the sights that go at a 45-degree angle. So those systems are great, but typically they're all located in certain areas, and so you've got all of this area with this Picatinny rail. Well, the one good thing about the ATI system, and I showed this when I was doing the video, is that the system itself is smooth. But the rail system itself doesn't have all the sharp edges. It's rounded and it has a really nice feel to it, but it does have these slots where you can put your rails directly into the slots where you want them. So it's really adaptable. I know with the Magpul forearm, which is of course a polymer, reinforced polymer, they do have slots that you can put on. The AB Arms Mod 1 handguard that I really like for my carbines, they can also have just slots to be able to attach these rails. But in this aluminum rail system, this really gives you a lot of cooling. This is a free-floating handguard. You can get the two-piece as well. But you can put all of your optics or all of your accessories where you want them. So it's highly customizable. In fact, it comes with screws that are threaded to be inserted right into the ATI forearm. You know, I do have polymer rail systems, and they're fine for a lot of uses, especially with flashlights. But if you really want a super secure system, going with the metal, going with the aluminum is far superior. There is no difference in movement. It's very rigid, and it's going to hold whatever accessory you have really tight onto your forearm. Now, here are just some accessories that I personally like to put on my rifle. I'm not big about just loading up my rifle with a lot of things. The AR-15 is a lightweight, handy rifle, and I just don't really care about putting a lot of stuff on it. Now, with this system here, though, with the larger barrel and the longer barrel, I do like to have a nice bipod. This is a Harris bipod. It's one of the older styles, but I can get an adapter, which I'm getting ready to get, to be able to put onto a Picatinny rail. One thing I do like is a good flashlight, and I like to have the ability to put it on and off if I need one. But having a light on the end of your rifle can really have some advantages. So a flashlight is really one of the biggest things that I like. And then sometimes I do put a contour camera, and this has a Picatinny rail adapter, and I can put this wherever I want to. One of the things that I really like too about this system is that I can put that adapter anywhere I want. So I can put it here, I can move it to wherever I want to, but it's not permanently on there. I don't have to worry about a rail system that's all the way across. There are a lot of different accessories that people like to put on their handguards, and that's all up to the individual. There's so many different accessories out there, and this is just what I like. I like to keep mine pretty clean. One of the things too, though, that's really important and has become important lately is to be able to put a set of sights at a 45-degree angle. So you can look through your scope, and then you can slightly cant your rifle if you have any problem with optics, or if you need something for a close quarter. You can have that 45-degree angle that's out of the way of your optic, but yet really easy and accessible on your rifle. The one thing that typically they do is they fit a rail system here, and then the sight comes down at a 45-degree angle. Of course, ATI fixed that, putting a 45-degree angle rail here as well. Forearm, or you have an 8-sided handguard, so you're very flexible, and this is a really modular system, and the quality of this thing is unbelievable. Again, I do have a total review on this whole setup and system, and I don't want to go over everything over again. Now, I'm currently building an AR pistol, and with that I'm going to use one of these ATI short forearms to go on there. And that way I can put any kind of accessory I want to. There's not going to be a whole lot, but I like to have the option. Now, here are just some of the different rail systems that they have, and they go all the way from 12 to 6, 4 inch. These are both 2 inches, but they also have a 3 inch. So there's so many different ways to keep it exactly what you need instead of just having an extended rail. Just like with this 4-inch rail, you have 4 of the screws that will fit directly onto the handguard. But one thing I want you to notice is the Loctite has already been applied. And you know, if you're going to mount rails, especially something that you want to be very rigid and secure, having Loctite in there really keeps it in place. And these already have it locked in. But the quality of this rail system is really high. With the aluminum, it really gives you a lot of stability. Now the 12-inch rail is a low mount rail. This allows you to put this on the top of your handguard and secure it down. So you're going to have not only your regular Picatinny rail, but then it will just extenuate out. And so you can put a long eye relief scope, you can put a lot of other different features, magnifiers, different things to be able to utilize the whole top of this rail system. And really that stays away from your hand. So having this is really a nice feature, and to be able to get it low. I mean, even though this scope comes really close, you've still got room here to go up under. The standard accessory rail has a little bit more of a lip here, and it stands out just a touch more, but it still keeps a low profile on the handguard itself. Now because the low profile rail mates with the upper receiver, you can put backup sights here, and then you can bring around your backup sights out forward on your rifle and still be pretty much on the same plane. Even like the rail on this gas block, it's actually lower, and there's going to be a difference. So this really helps and keeps you in line with the rear Picatinny rail that's on your upper receiver. Now these rails are heat treated and they're hard coat anodized, and it's a T6 aluminum. So they're machined very well, very high tolerances, and it's a really excellent construction. And it also allows you to go with a low profile gas block here without the rail, and to keep this really small. And that can be really important if you're extending your handguard over your gas block. Then you still have a place here for your front sight. Of course, one thing to note is on the 12-inch low profile, you have your basic 1913 Picatinny style bars, and with the other smaller rail systems, you have your more modular Picatinny rail style. So if you're really looking for a good, high-quality rail system, you need to check out ATI. They're just putting out some really incredible accessories for the AR-15, and just very good, solid, rigid, secure platforms for all your accessories. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Yeah.
I'm waiting to get my 122.
I'll set up with your 22 in just a minute. Okay? But right now, I'm just getting situated. Okay?